Hello. So I thought I would film a little explanation of my weight loss journey, where I'm at, how I got here, where I want to go, blah, 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 how I did it. You're in the cupboard because I am trying to cook dinner and multitask here, and don't you worry, I'm cleaning as I go. But anyway, so I just got home from work. Don't care what I look like. This is what you get. I have had a lot of people asking me how I've lost weight. I feel like I've posted some pictures and showing, comparison photos and things on Facebook and whatnot, where you can clearly tell I've lost weight. Those who are close to me know how I'm doing it, all of those sorts of things. But I have a lot of people asking me to kind of break down what I do, what I eat, what I cook, all those sorts of things. And I'm too lazy to write it down. So I am going to maybe do videos like what I ate today, different recipes, makes my life easier. I'm a talker, shouldn't be hard, right? The whole start of this is actually 13 months today. I wanted to do a 1-year update last month, but I was in Florida for my birthday. Wasn't too concerned about being on my phone. I changed my whole life 13 months ago today. So when I turned 30, had a big 30th birthday party. A lot of you were there getting hammered with me. All I remember is every time I tried to turn down a shot of Fireball, I was told, drink, bitch. Seeing as I was where I worked, who am I to say no? I served all of you, couldn't not, take your shots. At that point, I was drinking a lot, and I had told myself that after this 30th birthday party, I was going to chill a little bit on the booze. No intentions of quitting or anything, just I woke up with a weird man touching me on my couch one day, and I was like, maybe it's time to reel this in a little bit after that birthday party. But in that one decision, everything snowballed, and here we are. So got completely annihilated for my 30th birthday. Woke up the next day, hungover as I could possibly be, and had to go to work that afternoon. And I saw my cigarettes on the table, and I just too hungover to want them, so I left them on the table, went to work, worked my shift, didn't smoke one. Had a multiple day hangover because I went too hard, and I was now 30, so you just don't bounce back the same. And I ended up never picking up a cigarette since then. 3 days into not smoking, so 3 days after my birthday, a friend came over, put on a cup of coffee. As soon as I had that coffee, I wanted a cigarette so bad. So I dumped it. So I haven't had caffeine in 13 months, except for one day. There's most of these things. I've slipped up a little here and there, but I haven't had a cigarette. So after the first week, I hadn't drank, hadn't smoked, had cut out caffeine, and since I wasn't drinking coffee, I was afraid to drink pop because I didn't know if it would have the same nicotine fit-inducing thing going on. So I cut out pop. So 1 week of that, I lost 9 pounds. I did the math. At the rate that I was drinking alcohol and sodas, sugary drinks, juice, all those sorts of things at work, I cut out 20,000 calories in a week. I like to do things to excess, if you can't tell. You don't get the physique I had without really just consuming a bunch of shit, right? So after that first week, I was sitting here and I was thinking just a week of not drinking, not smoking, I feel great. I feel really great when I eat healthy, when I lose weight. So I was like, I should get back. I had done Whole30 at one point a couple years ago and really liked how I felt. And then after the 30 days, went back to life as usual and, kept gaining. So I decided to do, a paleo approach. And I use that term loosely. So any of you paleo purists, don't come for me with this. I do what's practical for my life. I do what's affordable. I make room for foods that are non-paleo that I know I absolutely can't live without. Key one being sushi. So I have my cheats and I have my exceptions. I can't afford to do grass-fed, organic, no nitrate meats, all these things. I buy things that have a marinade on it. I buy regular store-bought dressing. I try to always go for the most limited ingredient items. Stick to the most whole foods that I can. But for me, I'm busy. I'm broke most of the time. And if I don't do something that's going to actually fit in with my real lifestyle, I wouldn't have stuck to it. So basically the principles of paleo that I pull from are most of the restrictions. No beans, nothing that comes from a grain, no dairy. I don't do the alcohol, anything like that. So mostly what I do eat is lean proteins and lots of fruits and veggies. I don't eat potatoes. A lot of people on paleo do. I've made a couple exceptions if I'm out or at people's houses. I'm just not a big potato eater to begin with. So for me, that's just not a natural thing to buy, cook, whatnot. So I don't do potatoes, but I don't see why not. I mean, you do you, boo-boo. So yeah, lean proteins, tons of fruits and veggies. I do avoid more of the starchy stuff. And most nuts. I eat a lot of like walnuts, cashews, pistachios, almonds, and then some oils. Basically, the only thing I use as far as cooking oils, anything like that, are going to be extra virgin olive oil, and I do use coconut oil in some things. But it's usually olive oil, and if I use a cooking spray, it's the olive oil spray. You're not supposed to have canola. I typically don't. The only time that I do get little bits of it would be in like dressings. Sorry, texts are coming through and distracting me. Listen, you're in a cupboard. I don't have a tripod. I'm using my phone. We're gonna wing this, and I'm gonna be a little ghetto. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically what I eat. When I started this, I knew that I could not live without sushi. So for the last 13 months, typically at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, I go out for sushi. I go to all-you-can-eat sushi places. I get 3 or 4 rolls. I get a plate of hibachi dinner that's going to have the noodles or the rice, or sometimes I have a fried appetizer in there, and sometimes I do go over my normal calories. I track my calories on MyFitnessPal. Typically, if it's a sushi day, I eat very light the rest of the day if I eat at all, just to make sure that that's the bulk of my calories for the day. But if you're going to do any kind of restricted diet approach, I think that you have to build in your daily or weekly life, at least, the things that you love, or you're not going to do it. You're going to give up. You're going to get frustrated. The cravings are going to take over. So for me, sushi was a big thing I couldn't give up. And another thing that I don't eat as often, but does have grain and I eat a lot, is tabbouleh. So the only thing in there that's non-paleo is going to be the bulgur wheat, but it's wheat, so it's not paleo. But I know I love it. Knew I couldn't live without it. I do typically make it at home just so that I know what's going into my food and I can, track calories and such accordingly. So with paleo, there's a ton of resources. Again, you got to modify it, make it work for you. But I do find with this approach, I just have so much more energy. It was so much easier to maintain the weight loss, things like that. So that's the general change in my diet. It's been 13 months. I haven't had a cigarette. I've saved over $3,700. The drinking, I had a few hiccups, I'm not gonna lie. Can't say I haven't had like a beer here or there, and only a select few of you know that I had a couple too many vodkas one night. I had a bad day. But other than that, going from an almost daily drinker and a binge drinker, like a heavy drinker on the days that I did drink, I've had exactly 3 nights, 1 where I went too far, and 2 where I just had 2 beers, which I was never a beer drinker, but they sounded delicious. So other than that, I have been completely non-alcohol, which I've saved over $11,000. I had my couple hiccups, but in that, I don't miss it. I don't plan on going back to it. So the alcohol has saved me a lot of calories, and then just the other things that go with it. When you drink, then you aren't careful about what you're eating, and you're making other bad choices, who you bring home, those sorts of things. So without that, that has made a big difference, just health-wise. I don't have those days where I don't get out of bed because I'm so hungover or whatnot. I don't miss it, don't plan on going back to it. Had my few nights to realize I can handle it, but I don't want to, kind of thing. But yeah, haven't drank at all, haven't had caffeine. The one exception I did make on caffeine was the day after I drank too much because I was trying to cure a hangover, and I hadn't experienced one of those in quite a while. Yeah, so that's basically how I eat. Exercise, I try to get to the gym. I don't get there nearly as often as I need to or would like to, but just trying to find other ways to up your activity. I do yoga at home. I've been getting back into doing kettlebell fitness at home, things like that. The biggest thing I noticed is I plateaued quite a bit. I lost probably about 70 pounds from the day after my birthday, so January 14th, until August, September. Then I switched jobs, and I had been bartending, 50 plus hours a week. So I was constantly on my feet, never sat down, lifting beer cases, stocking coolers, all of those sorts of things. A very active job, heavy cleaning, things like that. As far as if you mop the whole bar floor or whatnot, things like that were just built into my daily routine because of my job. Well, since I got another job, I'm a leasing agent in an apartment complex, and I do go out and take people on tours and things like that, but it's the slow season and it's not enough to compensate for how active I was in my previous job. So with that, I do need to find ways to incorporate more activity, and I've been kind of stagnant and plateaued for about 5 months since that job change, but I lost a lot of weight very quickly, and so I'm kind of okay with the plateau while my body readjusts and kind of figures things out. So I feel like we'll get there, and then I'll have another big rapid drop, hopefully, or maybe not. I mean, we'll see. But that's how things kind of worked for me. But I have been able to maintain that 75-pound weight loss. I'll go up 2 pounds here or there and then lose 3. But I've juggled between the same 5 pounds now for months. So if nothing else, it's maintenance. This is still working. This is still the best thing I've ever done. I've lost large amounts of weight before and put it all back on. As far as the numbers, from my biggest I ever was, I have lost 107 pounds. And from 13 months ago, I've lost 75.6, I believe. Not where I want to be. I feel so much better. I'm so much healthier, so much happier, but I do want to lose another considerable chunk, maybe another probably 60 to 80, depending on, I've never been small, so I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I don't have a specific number in mind. I'm not trying to set myself up for frustration and failure, but I'll know it when I get there, I feel. But the biggest thing is just being healthy. I didn't do this to look a certain way. I didn't do this. I mean, that's obviously a benefit, but it's more, I just wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be, have more energy and just be a healthier version of myself. Nothing really qualifies me to tell anybody what to eat or how to exercise or any of those things. I haven't consulted a doctor or done any research or talked to a nutritionist or anything like that. The only thing that maybe a little bit qualifies me is I was like super fat, and now I'm just kind of fat, and I've been able to do that for a year. So take my advice, don't take my advice. I don't even know if I'd call it advice. This is just what I've done. So food-wise, paleo. Moving-wise, I do cardio. I don't know, find something you like and stick to it. Don't, go for a walk. Any additional activity obviously is going to help. I do track calories on MyFitnessPal. Some days a little more honestly than others. You have a bad day, you kind of just call it a day. But there's a lot of days that I screw up, and I do track it honestly. I had an entire week, like 2 weeks ago, that I had like 3,500 calories a day because I couldn't get my life together and I had hormones and whatnot. And that's okay. Tracked it, moved on, back on track a couple of days later, and actually lost 3 pounds that week. So I don't think there's anything wrong with holding yourself accountable or being honest with yourself so that you don't fall back into those same patterns. Like, I've had to learn this time that there's going to be days and weeks that I screw up, but I just get back on it, which is different from what I have done in the past. Well, what else do I have here? I don't know. I mean, that's just what's worked for me. Tonight, for instance, what I'm having for dinner is I have really thin boneless pork chops marinating in lime juice, salt, pepper, and coriander. And I have a bunch of veggies, zucchini, squash, mushrooms, onion, garlic, and peppers roasting right now in the oven. I made homemade guacamole because I have probably a borderline unhealthy obsession with guacamole, and I make really bomb-ass guacamole. So that's in the fridge to pair with the coriander pork, and I'm probably going to make some cauliflower rice or something. I don't know. Pop something in the microwave. I really don't need anything else. I don't know. I'll decide. I usually do 2 veggies. But, so that's, for instance, what I'm having tonight. Fairly low calorie, mostly veggie based. Easy to make. I just kind of throw a bunch of crap in a pan and throw it in the oven. But I do definitely have my favorite paleo recipes, my tried and true, my meal prep. This will hold for days, so you can pack it for lunch if you have a busy schedule. So I think what I am going to do is, specific recipes. Everybody knows I make sukuma wiki all the time. It's an African dish with collard greens and ground meat and everything. That's one that I'll probably record how I make it and share that. I can record my guacamole. I think maybe one day I'll do like a this is what I ate today video, just so you can see start to finish, like what my day's like. Another big thing I do is I drink a ton of water, which I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer. I don't drink anything but water. So in that, I shoot for almost a gallon a day. Sometimes I get there, sometimes I don't. If you're thirsty, drink. I mean, I think the biggest thing with weight loss is we all look for some gimmicky thing, or we all look for a quick fix. And it's funny when people are like, oh, what did you do to lose weight? And I'm like, cocaine, lots of cocaine. And that is not true at all. I've never in my life done cocaine. I don't care what you've heard, but never put anything in there. But when I tell people like, oh, I eat healthy and I exercise, they look at you so disappointed. And I don't understand why. It's like, it's not rocket science. There's not a magic granola bar or pill or exercise, just this one thing, or take this vitamin. There's no secret. There's literally no secret to weight loss. It's all about calories. Move more than you eat healthier food. I think definitely we're moving in a direction of recognizing how much healthier whole foods are, getting away from processed junk that hides all the extra chemicals and sodium that interact with your body and your metabolism in all these ways that we probably don't even understand. So there's no secret, there's no gimmick. I'm not trying to pitch anything. I don't work for Beachbody. Like, I don't believe in any of that. The truth is, I'm learning to have a better relationship with my body and with food and with being a busy person trying to be healthy. There's, like I said, there's no secret. It's just food. It's just food and it's just exercise. And I know that it's so much more loaded and so much bigger than that for so many people. And there's a psychological element to all of this. But honestly, there's not a secret. Just, I eat healthy. I'm more mindful of portions and the types of foods I go for. I don't eat fast food at all. That was a huge part of my diet before. But yeah, no, that's it. That's the truth. Obviously, like I said, I'm not where I want to be. I do have a lot more weight to lose, but I've come really far. And as frustrated as I am with a plateau, the fact that I'm even maintaining it is something that I've just never been able to do before. So for me, this seems to be the trick. Eating the whole food approach, cutting out certain food groups. It's worked. So maybe it'll work for somebody else. Maybe it won't. But I would just, like the opportunity to at least explain what I've done. And if it works for somebody else, cool. I know I have a sibling that has been kind of doing his own spin on what I've done, is already seeing success and feeling better. And that's the most important thing. Like, I just can't stress enough. I have so much more energy. My life is totally different than it was a year ago. I don't miss being hungover and sluggish. And the biggest thing that I've noticed, just as far as general health, I was sick all the time. I had constant upper respiratory infections, ear infections, bronchitis at least a couple times a year. I puked all the time. A lot of that was from drinking and the hangovers and things, but even on days that I wasn't drinking, I was always throwing up, and I never questioned it. It was just like, I'm a puker. I don't know. But once I changed my entire lifestyle, things just were totally different. And I haven't puked in a year. I haven't had a cold in a year. I'm knocking on wood here. But overall, I mean, I've just seen so many changes to my health, and that's the most important thing. And obviously, like, I do feel better about how I look. I take the time to do my hair and do my makeup. Today's not a good example. I don't bother with that shit for work. But yeah, a totally different approach to my life at this point. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm in no position to tell anybody how to live their life or that this will definitely work for you. But enough people have asked that I feel inclined to at least give that 13-month update and explain what I've been doing and be a little more transparent about it. I feel like people don't like to talk about weight loss because then it's like admitting how fat you were before. But like, here's the thing. It wasn't a secret. Like, I can't, this is me. Like, you can't hide your body. We try, but like nobody thought that I was a size 2 under a baggy coat. Like, that wasn't a thing. It's not a secret. I've been fat my whole life. It's okay. It's just a word. So yeah, I have no problem like having a little more transparency about my life, my struggles, my successes, and what I'm doing and what's worked for me and what hasn't. And I'm always open to more advice because I am kind of tired of this plateau. But yeah, so I will keep you posted. Anything in particular you want to know, any recipes of mine you've seen or had or seen me post that you want me to go into more depths about, I'll absolutely do that. And I think I've rambled enough. I say this every video, but I don't know when to shut up. So I think my veggies are almost done. So I'm going to go throw my pork on, and I'll catch you later.